What's up, Fishaholics? Welcome back to the channel. We are back out on the yard getting ready to do yet another unboxing. As you can see, my trolling motor got busted. I took it over to the good folks over at Boris Marine here in Fort Worth and told me it'd cost me about $300 or $400 to fix my old trolling motor, which to me, not worth spending that money to fix something that I was gonna eventually upgrade. So I was thrown into the fire. My feet were put to the fire or whatever, and I had to go ahead and break down and buy a new trolling motor. That's why I'm here doing this unboxing, bringing it to you. I'm gonna do this unboxing install today. Closer look, I busted the shaft on this thing. I got it all tied down, but I busted the shaft pretty good on there, and bearings started to leak. Caught myself trying to take the shaft out and look at it, and this thing is all banged up on the inside of there. Let's see if I can focus on that. Yeah, it's all banged up inside of there, so it's kind of like, you know, it's gonna take too much to fix it. So we are going out with the old, in with the new. So let's get started on unboxing this thing and replacing this for the before and after. This is a big box, so I'm trying to get the best angle for you guys. Big package, big long motor. I think it's a 54-inch shaft on this motor, so it could be bigger than that. Start taking stuff out of here. Some kind of hang tag notice. Refer to included owner's manual for installation and operating instructions. They need a tag to tell me to look at the manual and install. Okay. Box in itself is a complicated beast. Whoa, this is heavy. Yeah. As I've unboxed a couple of trolling motors in my day, this is by far the heaviest. All right, it's got this Lowrance sonar cable. This is the universal sonar. Got an Atwood package, came in the box. Of course, that's the pieces and instruction manual. You got your warranty registration card with Mercury, unless that fell from somewhere else, but I'm sure, I guess Mercury must be the makers of MotorGuide, operation and warranty manual. Pinpoint GPS, quick reference. For those of you guys that don't know, the Pinpoint GPS is their version of Spot Lock, the more popular term used for it. You got your remote and lanyard. You got your prop, blade, hardware, more hardware, and important MotorGuide warranty or warnings and more information, sales information, whatever. All right, so now we got this thing unboxed. Let's go ahead and start the installation process. I'm too familiar with these bolts or with this little piece of hardware. See my previous trolling motor videos. As I showed in many of my previous videos, you take this little pin, stick it in here, make sure it doesn't drop. I'm gonna turn it sideways so it doesn't drop all the way through. You take your prop, you put it through. There's a little groove right in here for that little bar to fit into. So once you put that through there, you line it up in that, and that's what turns the motor. Basic physics. Take that, and then you put your washer on there, and then you put your nut on there. That's loose, so I'm gonna take a tool and tighten that to specification here in just a second. Take your 14 millimeter, tighten that down. But you don't want that loose. But I have that mechanics feel, so once you get it just tight enough, and you don't want to break it, you don't want to put it too tight or too loose, get it just tight enough. But if you got that mechanics feel, you know. Otherwise, you might want to check torque specifications. You got your basic wiring. This is about 8-gauge wire, positive and negative. It's gonna connect to your battery leads. So if you guys got an older boat like me, removing this old trolling motor, probably in any situation, older boat or not, if you're taking out your old trolling motor, you need to be mindful that you need to get underneath you need to get down in the hull and put a wrench around these. It's gonna be held on by nuts at the back end of these boats. Yeah, I wasn't gonna film this part at first, but I realized that if I have this issue, then you guys might have this issue. And it's kind of the purpose of these videos is to show you what to do so you don't make the same mistakes or waste your time doing the same thing that I did. And before I figured it out, I just about stripped this here screw. Bye-bye, little guy. All right, now we gotta unbox this quick release guide, the MotorGuide quick release bracket, the mount. Comes with the mount itself, all nicely bubble wrapped, and of course the hardware. Bunch of screws, a ton of screws, guys. I don't reckon I'm gonna need all of them, and they're Allen heads, so that's even more of a nuisance. But just that means it's less likely to be stolen because it's more of a nuisance to deal with. We got your MotorGuide instructions. This is the Spanish side, so I can't read that. Nylon quick release bracket instruction sheet. You need to put at least 6 bolts through. This saying put the Allen head up through the bottom for the main bracket part. No, wait, I think I got that wrong. Bottom plate is a square plate in the middle here. This is what stays on the boat, apparently. Yeah, this hooks to your motor, and you take that off with it. Placing this where I want it to be, so we can get a good idea of how we want to position the motor. I don't want it too far this way where I go to let it up and it don't come off the edge of the boat. See what I mean? I underestimated how important this would be to line this up, because you just go to putting holes in your boat, you're gonna be in a world of trouble. So at this point, I need this thing hanging way off the boat just to get clearance on the shaft going up and down. Now that I got this thing about where I want it, or I got an idea where I want it, I can take these side panels off, these plastic panels, pull them off, and start mounting this thing. There's 2 screws, 1 on each side. I've already unscrewed it, so now I just shake it up out of there. Little screw, not much to it. 1 on each side, and you have to be careful not to mess up the mounting tabs. If you just slide them back and pull them off both sides, push it up that way and pull back. Quite simple. Now we're able to mount. We got these exposed, so we can mount this to the bracket here underneath here. I think I want my lock to be on the inside of this. That way people can't be all fooling around the outside of the boat if they were to mess with it. First thing you want to do is make sure you get this on the right way, knowing that this is going to pull up over there, because it won't go through the other way. So if you mount that wrong, you ain't getting it back off. So make sure you got it where this top part comes up and leaves this block on the ground. Another thing I could have done was save this part for last. It just makes it easier to deal with this without having to worry about breaking your props or anything. You gotta insert this before you put your screws through. Nice and tight, snug. That's it. Sucker ain't going nowhere. So on the old wire connection, there's a negative and a hot. I just tested. There's actually two red wires for hot wires. I just tested them. Only this one is hot. This one back here is not. So I'm gonna connect to these two, and they're running at 24 volts off my previous trolling motor, and we should be good to go. We on the board. It's time to start ripping lips, Daddy. Oh, shit. Damn. Line snapped. That was lucky. Uncle Buck's crappie rod. Oh, yeah, you way bigger than 10. Oh. It didn't snap my line. The little, it came out that little back ring of the hook. Well, alright, guys, I'm gonna play around with this, jigging this swim bait while I go ahead and cap off this video for y'all. We got the MotorGuide Xi3. It's all mounted. We got the quick release mount. I put a combination lock on there. I still wouldn't trust leaving this out anywhere with that lock on it. That's just me. Whatever. It's just an extra layer of security. But if you take a look down here and notice something is missing, the foot pedal. Now I want to talk to you guys about this foot pedal and this motor. The foot pedal's gone. Let's start there because I'm sure y'all wondering why it's gone. I returned it. Hell, so the foot pedal, I don't want to like trash it and badmouth it. It's just not what you expect it to be. So it's more like a foot control remote than a foot pedal, because your traditional foot pedal, especially the ones with the cable control foot pedal, you can lean your foot back, turn left, lean it a little bit forward, turn a little bit right, you know, and it kind of moves with your foot and you can control it. This one's more like if you push the back button down on your heel, then it'll whip it to the left. You push the front button down with your toe, whip it to the right. And it's just not very intuitive, I would say. I've seen videos where people adjust them and make the springs on them more sensitive. That's another thing, because you had to press the crap out of it for it to go, and that's probably why it whips so hard, because when you press that button, it just turns, but it wasn't helping me at all. And I held on to it for a little bit, thinking that maybe it'll be better, because I was crappie fishing for a while with it and I rarely needed it, and whenever I tried to turn it with my foot, it just turned too fast. But I started doing a little bass fishing with it because I thought maybe, okay, well, maybe when I use it for bass fishing, it'll be more helpful. Wrong. It was the same effect, same, just lack of control is what it is. MotorGuide should fix that, actually. I don't want to keep going on about it, because they should fix it, because I've seen a bunch of reviews where they talk about it, and a lot of people have the same complaints. I say it would be good for a kayak, because if you're using it to control the direction of the kayak while you're trolling along, then more power to you. That way your hands are free to cast and everything. But I've been using this remote. I've kind of gotten pretty good with it. It's the winter time. I don't like being cold, but I have not let up. I've been out here almost every day this winter. When I go days without catching bass, I'll go and do a little crappie fishing. That's why you see crappie fishing videos on my channel, and not because I'm a crappie sniper, even though a lot of the crappie fishing community have been heavily recruiting, heavily trying to get me to join the dark side. But as far as this motor goes, I pretty much love it. It is a 70-pound thrust. I mean, it moves this boat. It gets this boat going, gets it where I need to be. Sometimes I'm almost at a point where I want to troll versus go and crank up the big motor. When I get to that point, I feel like it's going a little slow for me, but that's more like me being lazy. When I'm fishing a spot and we need to move around and turn my live scope and everything, this motor does just what it needs to do, and with the remote. And I just had to get used to using the remote instead of the foot pedal. Although it does take a hand off. I missed fish. I've missed bass. Got bass strikes. I missed it because one hand was on the remote. Couldn't get my reaction down in time. Oh, and let's not forget to mention the spot lock. The spot lock on here is very serviceable. I've been told that I should get a hockey puck to put on the back and it'll give it more control, but I haven't had really any complaints, man. This thing will hold me still, and I fished some windy days. It's pretty choppy out here now, and I'm sitting in this same spot for a minute, sitting here holding just that far off of that ledge there for like the whole time I've been talking to y'all. If you in spot lock the whole time, and his trolling motor has not let up. I feel like I'm getting a little lengthy on this review. So I don't want to keep you guys any longer. If you stuck around this long, go ahead and leave a like on the video, share your thoughts and comments below, and subscribe to the channel. As I said, I appreciate you guys watching, and as I always say, as always, never let up. Stay out here, even when it gets cold, you never let up. It's a mind state. Let's get it.